Spirits can be provoked in many ways. Sometimes it's through the use of a spirit board, which can lead to horrifying consequences.
Deadly Dreams. Interview with Marina Duarte. Take 1. Marking.
I was about 13 and we moved into an apartment in the big city in Sao Paulo. I was happy to be moving into the city. I was close to starting high school, so it was all perfect.
But that perfect feeling would not last long.
My mother, she thought it would be funny. Oh, why don't we play with the spirit board? My sister, went along with it. She's like, yeah, that'd be cool. Let's go along with it. Let's do it. And I was not in favor of it. I was kind of hesitant.
Just get your sister. It's really fun. Get her.
Then, kind of got pressured into it and we played with it. Yeah. I just felt that I was always a little bit more sensitive than other people. Sometimes I could feel things that other people wouldn't feel. I thought playing that spirit board would not be a good thing. Something good would not come out of it.
Is there someone here? Oh my gosh, it's moving. This is so much fun.
As we started to play with the board, the little block that they were using to point to the letters started to move on its own. I started to feel very scared. I started to feel very uneasy. I just felt like something bad was in the room with us, something very negative. I heard a growl. My sister and my mother did not hear it. It was just me. I was very angry, like a dog that wants to attack. It was right beside me, right next to me, right close to my face. I felt completely terrified.
Marina Duarte and her family had used a spirit board, inadvertently provoking a threatening entity. And that eerie spirit was making its presence known.
I heard a growl. I was very angry, like a dog that wants to attack. It was right beside me, right next to me, right close to my face. I felt completely terrified.
What's going on? Why are you screaming? What happened?
I started to cry immediately, like panicking.
There's nothing there.
I guess at that point, my mother realized that it was a mistake. They shouldn't have played that game. She threw it out. When I look back at this experience, I interpret what I heard that day as something bad, something evil that we called. We had fooled around with something we shouldn't have.
It can be dangerous to play with a spirit board because often rogue spirits that are wandering around looking for ways to come in and influence you, will use a spirit board to communicate with you.
Marina's experience with the spirit board had left her constantly feeling anxious and afraid.
I started to feel in the apartment as if I was never alone, as if something was always there with me, watching me. And I kind of tried to ignore it. So as I'm going to bed, lying down, all of a sudden, I start to feel very scared. And it's this feeling that I can't explain. You just can't move, you can't talk. It's just you're frozen. I started to hear very, very, as if it's far away, a woman crying. And as I'm listening, the noise gets closer and closer to the point where it was as if this woman was standing right beside me, right next to me, and crying right into my ear. And I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, and I just froze. I couldn't even open my eyes because I was scared of opening my eyes and actually seeing something. I was terrified. And then all of a sudden, I just had the courage to yell for my mom.
Mom! Mom! Mom!
And at that point, my mom came running.
Marina,
I was crying. I was quite hysterical. And I told her what happened.
it's just a nightmare.
Once she calmed me down, she walked me into her room because I didn't want to stay in my room. So from that point on, my mother got me a little bed and I was sleeping in her room at the foot of her bed.
The strange feeling in the apartment soon escalated into something far more sinister.
My family, since generations, grew up being very Catholic. We have a cross in every room of our house, so I grew up with a very, very religious family. I used to keep a lot of religious statues, Jesus, Mary, saints. One morning, I went into my room to change for school. And I look up where my statues were, and almost all of my statues, the heads were broken off.
An evil spirit might break or hide religious artifacts in a home that they're haunting because they want you to know that they're mocking your faith. They're trying to get under your skin.
Marina! Marina, what's happening?
I called my mom and dad right away. They came into my room and they couldn't believe it. They were in shock. Whatever it was, I believe, was trying to send us a message that they didn't want us there or they were trying to hurt us.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
I felt like maybe there was something even demonic in the house.
Marina would not be the only one in the family to experience the frightening paranormal activity.
My sister moved into the apartment to live with us with her son. He was about 6 months at the time. One night, my sister and I were up late watching TV. My parents were sleeping, and my nephew Louis was sleeping in his little bassinet in my sister's room. All of a sudden, we heard somebody singing. The singing that my sister and I heard was a woman, and it was the same voice of the woman crying that I heard. And it seemed like it was coming from my nephew's room. So as we walked closer to the room, we could almost hear as if somebody was rocking the bassinet and singing. The singing escalated when we approached the room. As soon as we went into the room, the singing stopped.
Is the baby okay? Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
My sister Lily was quite terrified because whatever it was now interacting with her son. I believe this all could be possibly related to playing with that spirit board, because after we played with that, I always had a bit of an uneasy feeling.
The terrifying incident was chilling, but soon things would get even worse.
Marina.
Mom?
When I get home from school, I heard my mom calling my name from the bedroom,
Marina.
as if she's happy to see me. And I ran to the room.
Hey, Mom.
I just thought it was strange when I got to the room and she wasn't there.
Mom?
When I heard that voice, I felt very scared, terrified, because I couldn't explain what it was. When I look on the fridge, on the door, there's a note from my mom saying that she went to the doctor's with my dad. All of a sudden, the phone rings.
Hello?
I pick up the phone, all I hear is static, like electricity. Thought maybe the phone's not working well, and I hang up. When I realized I was completely alone, I felt very scared. Very scared, which at that point I just thought, you know what? I'm not gonna think too much about it. I'm just gonna grab my dinner, warm it up, and go to the TV room, close the door, put the TV really loud, and hopefully my parents will come home soon. All of a sudden, something started to kick the door, as if it's trying to break it down really hard. This is physically trying to break down a door. So if it can do that to the door, what could it do to me? The door just all of a sudden opened, and at that point, I ran into my mom's room.
After playing with a spirit board, ᴸᴺᴬᵗᵛ had unleashed an evil being. And now the spirit was angry and determined to inflict terror.
This is physically trying to break down a door. So if it can do that to the door, what could it do to me? The door just all of a sudden opened, and at that point, I ran into my mom's room. And I grabbed the rosary that was by her night table, and I just started to pray really loud.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
But the praying did little to dissuade the evil spirit.
Our Father who art...
Once I started to pray, the activity got really violent. It's almost like it got angry that it didn't want me to do that. It was almost as if there was a tornado inside the apartment. Like the doors were literally opening and closing, and the taps were opening and closing.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
I felt terrified. I don't think I've ever felt so scared in my life. To be in that situation, it's awful because you feel like you're being attacked by something that you can't see.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
When everything stopped, I felt a bit relieved, but still not safe.
After her frightening experience, Marina's parents took action.
The next day, we spoke to a priest. He was quite taken back. He was quite shocked. The priest decided to bless the apartment because he believed that this would accomplish a protection. I felt at peace. I felt like I was protected. But I also felt like my parents had finally come to the decision that I wanted, which was to move. I believe the spirit board played a role where it just opened up a door that shouldn't have been open. You shouldn't mess with those things. If I could give anyone advice on using spirit boards or thinking of using it, I'd say don't use it. Don't. because you're just opening a whole can of worms that you do not want to get into.